where we introduced this whole initiative, and where I again become very personal in telling what my financials were, but most importantly in telling what my fears were about scaling. And those are the fears that a lot of us face. And if you don't want to call them fears, they're thoughts. They are just worries, and they are, you know, what will happen if I decide to grow? What does it mean that I will have no life? What do I not know? What I don't even know what questions to ask in order to know, because I don't know enough. What if business dries up? That was, for me, that was a really big thing. Even you could see my trajectory kept going up pretty much, but that fear of what if business dries up? What if it'll never happen? What if the pipeline doesn't get filled? That's a real fear. What if I can't hire right? What if I don't have the right people? So all of those things, we discussed all of those in Seal's podcast back then, when I become very open again and talk very openly about my thoughts on whether to grow my business or not. Now, ultimately, I did decide to grow. And so I give you all of this to show that this was not it was not an easy answer for me. And it was not an easy decision. And even though to somebody from the outside, you know, somebody may look at me and say, oh, she's running a successful business, or she's doing all these presentations, or she's doing all these, you know, WTF lives, and she's everywhere, and she's on Luann's podcast. None of it is easy or effortless. I love it, and maybe that's why it looks it. But the point that I'm trying to make is it was a conscious choice, okay? It was a conscious choice to go in that direction that I made through a lot of research, a lot of self-reflection, a lot of soul searching, which comes from me with some crying and some journaling and some pondering and some reading and, you know, talking to a lot of people. And what I realized, so I have a list of how I ultimately came to this decision, and it's not a comprehensive list by far, but some of the considerations that were going through my head were that at the level of business where I was, I couldn't keep up anymore. So at that point, let's see, let's go back. Where was I? So my ruminating phase is from like 15 to 17, and my revenue level is about $500,000. I kept bumping up against $500,000. So at that level, what was happening is maintaining my business model of being essentially a solopreneur, where I outsourced my fabrication. I had an installer and I still went to all of my installations back then. And but I was the main breadwinner, if you will. I was the main rainmaker in the business. I did all the measuring. I did all the estimating. I did all the financials. I did all the marketing. I was the main person. I was the face, you know, everything. So I couldn't keep up anymore at that level. Phone calls were missed. I didn't return phone calls, or I didn't return emails, or mistakes were made. I worked with all of that. I still worked crazy hours, and you know, there was a point where times where I wasn't present for my family, and like I told you before, that was very, very important to me, and I didn't like that at all. So. The big thing, the really big thing for me is I was becoming resentful. Like, imagine a business owner who is generating $500,000 in business with overall bottom line of about 200,000, being resentful of that gift. I mean, it's a gift to be able to do that. You know, all these clients were giving me their money and wanting me to do their projects, and I was resentful. I didn't want to do it. So, and there's a lot more to that story too. But when I finally realized that, I was like, wow, this is not a way to do it. I really had to make a decision. I either go up and grow, or I scale back.